Welcome to Without a Doubt, the podcast, where we explore the transformative journey of breaking cycles and embracing your truest self. I'm Mad, a cycle breaker, entrepreneur, and sprinkle of reality. Each week, we dive into conversations that challenge conventional thinking and inspire personal growth. Here, you're going to find practical tips to help you navigate your own path forward towards authenticity. Whether you're looking to overcome limiting beliefs, create meaningful change in your own life, or simply live more authentically, you're in the right place. So get ready to break the cycles that are holding you back, and let's start living a life that truly reflects who you are meant to truly be. If you haven't already hit that follow, please do. Subscribe to YouTube, hit me with a solid review, or contact me at itsyourgirlmad@gmail.com. You being here means the world to me, and I hope you know that. This past week, I was invited into a fantasy football league with my family. Well, my cousin actually invited my partner and we both decided to join. Instantly, my partner was like, I have to win. Kendra was like, I have to win. She's very competitive and she likes to win. It's her thing, winning. And some people who would also agree, you play to win. I am more of the let's play for funsies. I'm competitive within myself, and I know I tend to stand down in games I'm not really good at because I don't find it fun to suck. I mean, who really does? If I am decent at something or if it really piques my interest, I'll give it a try. But generally, winning will obviously feel more fun, but that's not always why I end up playing. I like participation. But if you're one of those play to win people and you get bummed out or upset when you lose, I ask you, what's so wrong about being a loser? I used to compete in triathlons. For a really long time, I tied that in with my identity. I essentially raced one triathlon a month for over 3 years, and I know 100% why I stopped. Anxiety, dun dun dun. You know, the anxiety that I needed to do better than my last race, the anxiety to hit the podium, the anxiety to finish my races. It was a mental competition within myself. And it was really never about the podium until I podiumed. It was always about me attempting to beat my time, clean up transition time, shave off times in certain areas, but it became no longer fun. It was numbers. It was competition for me. And I think some people do thrive on that competition, but I tend to flop in this area. I find myself flopping often in the competition world. I really don't like to compete. I can be competitive, and of course I like to win. I think by nature, all humans do, and we can be competitive, but I think some of us just have more drive than others with this. Yesterday, I went to the zoo. And it really made me think about this a lot deeper. In the animal kingdom, competition is really fascinating. And it's a multifaceted phenomenon driven by the need for survival and reproduction. But it manifests in a lot of ways. Each of these are tailored to specific needs and strategies of whatever species or animal. And here's how competition actually plays out in nature versus humankind. First of all, let's talk about resource competition. Animals, they often compete for limited resources like food, water, shelter. And that leads to physical confrontations like subtle forms of competition, territorial disputes. For example, lions. They compete for prey in their territory. Birds might fight over bird nesting sites. But as humans, we have that animalistic competition the same way. Hello, human resources. Hello, fossil fuels, oil, gas, real estate. We have wars and genocides happening all over the world for these kinds of things. Territorial disputes. Hello, human nature. Also, in the animal world, there's mating competition. In many species, animals will compete for their partner, like peacocks. They display beautiful, vibrant feathers to attract females. Male deers actually engage in these clashing battles with their antlers to win over the females. These displays ensure the fittest individuals pass on their genes. That's a reproduction competition. Mating competition, that's a basic one, right, for humankind. Maybe it's not that animalistic. Well, men will fight for their women or whatever. We're not going to kill for our mate, but it's more like humans do the mating dance. Have you ever seen on National Geographic the birds that dance for the women? I think like that's what it is in the world. We show off for our soon-to-be partners. There's also introspective competition. In the animal world, within species, you might fight for dominance, to be at the top of the food chain. So you can also have access to resources so you can live. Wolves in a pack that have that hierarchical, why can I never say this word? Wolves within a pack have that hierarchical structure where a higher ranking individual gets the preferred food and mating opportunities. Going into introspect, we have different levels of financial class within money. And I guess that'll give more money, more opportunities. That's in the humankind. So when we're talking animals, you get more opportunities if you're higher up in the chain. You get less opportunities if you're lower. Happens with financial success. That's all in the intraspecific. It creates all of these structures and gaps and mountains and divides between classes and people. There's interspecific competition with like different species. Those ones are the ones that they compete. They have the same niches, the same homes, but this might lead one species to out-compete the other. It can drive evolutionary changes in species that adapt to reduce and overlap. Like different species of birds may compete for the same insect prey, leading to different feeding strategies that all these different species of birds have to adapt to. Interspecific is almost going back to the resource thing for us. We are all human. We all need these lands. We all need water, air, food, shelter. We currently have a genocide happening in Gaza and the West Bank and over land and resources. We have corrupted governments like in Venezuela for the fight of resources, a lack between humans. This is what causes change. This is what causes adaptability, migration, immigration. This is something that's a problem in human nature, not just in animals. We can find peace, we can find cures, we can find solutions, but financial wealth, once again, become the divide. That's all within interspecific competition. Same territory, same land. We are the same humankind. Yeah, we all have to figure out how to survive on this planet, just like animals in the same environments. Then we also have survival of the fittest. It's this concept of obviously competition, 1000%. The most well-adapted individuals, animals will reproduce and survive. This is evolutionary. This is not just to animals. This is not just to humans. It's everything. It drives natural selection. And this influences the evolution of species over time. Human survival of the fittest is real. Why do you think people are planning for the zombie apocalypse or doomsday? Because those prepared ones, the most fit ones, will survive. I know you've seen The Walking Dead, right? I know I'm not the only one that was upset. At some point, that show turns. If you haven't seen it, here is a spoiler alert. But people stop fighting the zombies and start fighting each other. That's when I stopped watching the show because I don't need that living rent-free in my brain. Go watch my television episode on that, a few down. The cooperative competition, and this is the cooperative behaviors. For example, fish and birds, they work together to find resources like food. Like dolphins and birds, they circle and they work together. Go watch National Geographic if you've never seen this. It's literally helping each other because you need one another to live. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's when birds give other birds mating calls, or monkeys give out mating calls in the jungles, let them know that there are predators. They work together. It is cooperative competition. They're against each other, but somehow there's something larger, greater against them, and they are working together. Doesn't it sound like the humankind? We are just animals, essentially. In a grander scheme, competition can be on the same side. It doesn't always have to be opposing. Competition in the animal kingdom is a really powerful force shaping behaviors, physical traits, and ecological interactions, but it leads and can show us humans remarkable adaptations and really complex social structures. It highlights ever-evolving nature of life on this planet of Earth, and we too as humans have these animalistic competitions the same way. We have these behaviors and environmental factors, and all of these things play into the role of competitiveness. I know competition also gets a bad rap, but it can be incredibly beneficial for us in a lot of ways. We think of it as a catalyst for our own growth and innovation. When we think of people or organizations even, when they start competing, they're pushed to improve. When a new company comes out with a new product, the next company that's working side along to compete with them has to push to get innovative and make a new product as well. It's creating better products, it's creating better services. The drive to outdo one another can actually lead to higher standards and really exciting breakthroughs. Technology is booming and it's getting better because we have that drive of innovation, that competitiveness in the next best thing. Elon Musk wants to have the greatest technology. It's insane. In education, competition can actually motivate us to excel and engage more deeply with the material. Not for all kids, by the way. I'm not one of them. I said I flop in this. When we're talking about school, by the way, that's like the valedictorian, class rank. That was awful. I hated that. Those AP kids really were all up in that. Not me. I was like, I'm good with my 3.9 GPA in honors classes. In the workplace, healthy competition actually encourages employees to push their limits. When they have competitions for things, bonuses, it really does encourage them to contribute their best work, their best foot forward. In sports, we focus on winning. The real benefits, though, lie in the skills developed, the teamwork learned, and the personal goals that are achieved in those sports. It's not always about winning. The competition brings that all together. Of course, it's really important that competition remains fair and supportive when it's done right. It's not just about beating everyone and being the winner, but it's about striving to be the best version of ourselves. This can be a valuable tool for achieving an authentic life, and it has to be harnessed positively. And I want to really talk about how we can contribute to living authentically with competition and why it aligns with authenticity. First of all, clarifying your values. Like, competition is going to force you to define what matters to you most. By competing, you often confront your values, your priorities. This is going to help you understand and articulate what you truly want in your life rather than just what is expected of you or what is convenient. It encourages your self-discovery. It helps engage in competition, which will push you to explore strengths, the weaknesses, we all need that, and our passions. Sometimes that's a self-discovery will lead us to a better understanding of our truest selves and what we want to achieve, aligning our actions with our own authentic desires. Competition sometimes challenges us to step out of our comfort zone and confront our limitations, and that growth will help us develop a deeper sense of who we are and what we are capable of, fostering this authenticity through our own personal development. When you get competitive, it also will show your truest passions, right? You can compete in areas that truly interest you, and you can uncover and refine those passions, focusing on what you want to pursue and what you genuinely care about rather than following the trends, the paths that are popular or expected. And how about competition building confidence? If you can successfully navigate competition, you'll find increased confidence if you start pursuing your authentic goals with greater conviction and less fear of judgment. If you just do for you. I keep hearing my therapist tell me this, and she keeps saying, you owe nothing to anybody but yourself. And that's what competitiveness will drive within you and your authenticity. Finding what you owe to yourself, what drives and sparks you. That's going to lead us into aligning our actions with the belief. Competing will make it clear if our actions are out of sync with our core beliefs or values. And it will offer a chance for us to realign or readjust whatever behaviors and choices so we can feel more aligned with our authentic selves. Competition will enhance our authentic relationships. You know why? Because healthy relationships and healthy competition involves interacting with people who share similar interests, but not just that, our goals. Those interactions will lead to genuine connections and relationships based on shared values. But the mutual respect, the contribution, is actually what's going to lead us to the more authentic social life. That's going to lead us to more authentic competition, but it's not going to make us feel competitive with others. It's going to drive and rev up the competition within yourself. because that's going to foster your integrity. If you can compete fairly and ethically and reinforce that you're doing things correctly, you're going to learn to value honesty and fairness, and that will strengthen your sense of self and align your actions with your core principles. Getting competitive will also help us provide feedback on our own skills and approach. The feedback can help us make adjustments, align our efforts more closely with whatever authentic goals and interests we have. In essence, competition can serve as a mirror, reflecting back to our truest desires, our strengths, whatever areas for growth. By using competition as a tool for self-discovery and development, we can create a more authentic and fulfilling life. But just remember, the key is to approach competition with a mindset that values personal growth and authenticity over comparison or rivalry. If we're focusing on living our authentic life, sometimes being competitive, though, will be a hindrance. Competitiveness can drive personal growth. It can also become a hindrance if you're not managing it properly. And I want to share a few ways in which being overly competitive might negatively impact your personal growth. First of all, I don't know about you, but that excessive stress, constantly competing to outdo the next person, will lead you to more anxiety, higher levels of stress. That pressure will detract us from our overall well-being, and it'll hinder our ability to grow in a healthy and balanced way. We have a fear of failure. That intense competitiveness may foster the fear to make us hesitant to take a risk or even try something new. If you're constantly losing, you start to believe you're a loser. And then comparing yourself to others, an excessive focus comparing us can lead us to feelings of inadequacy or all of the negative self-doubt. That constant comparison will distract us from focusing on the growth that we're achieving or whatever improvements that are actually happening. We'll find ourselves comparing in those moments. And for me, this was so true. When I was talking about the triathlons, constantly comparing myself to the girl faster or the lady that was running past me. We all have these stories. We all do things differently, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. There's burnout that hits so heavy with competition. Overworking ourselves to stay ahead of the game will exhaust us mentally, physically, and emotionally, and that'll ultimately hinder our long-term growth and our well-being. We have to focus on really positive impacts in the short term so we have positive impacts in the long term. When you feel like you want to quit, that's in the burnout phase. A lot of times we know our passion is there, we know we want it, but we're grasping for straws because we're just so burnt out. Nothing's working and we're never happy. That goes into neglecting collaborations, because sometimes the hyper-competitive mindset will lead us to even thinking that we need to seek help from others or we need to collaborate. This will prevent us from learning different perspectives and skills, or even experiences. We really need experiences for personal growth, and we need others to survive. We can't do things alone, just like in the animal kingdom. A lot of them need other animals to help with predators, to help with new skill sets. When you're that person that always wants to win, people don't want to be around you. If you've got a competition drive that is so harsh, no one wants to play games with you. No one's going to want to collaborate with you. Remember, I was talking about the short-term focus. We really need to focus on how we're doing the things in the now, but we're not so focused on the long-term results. Finding fun in the short-term achievements versus like immediate results. And being competitive will emphasize immediate results. Short-term focus overshadows the importance of long-term growth, and it will ruin the fun. Okay, so that leads right into the loss of authenticity, competitiveness. Oy, oy, oy. This can really result in pursuing goals that don't align with your authentic self, leading to what? Dissatisfaction or lack of fulfillment. If you're always trying to win at things and that you don't even like or you're not great at, once again, that's going to be a confidence herder. That's going to be one of those like, why are you doing things that you don't like to do anyway? That's not you being authentic. So make sure you're really working on things you'd like to do. Hone in on the skills that you want to hone in on. That is where the spark and motivation lie, in the things you want and like to do. I think also competitiveness leads into unhealthy behaviors. An intense drive to outperform other people sometimes leads to unethical behaviors or even manipulation. Competing unfairly and sacrificing your own principles for success will just harm your own integrity and personal growth, period. I'm thinking of that really overly competitive person that really never has anything nice to say, and I have a good story, I guess. I'm on my second year of fantasy Formula One racing. It's my second year. My first year, I placed second place in the league, and my friend who invited me was not very congratulatory with me. She was kind of salty, saying it was beginner's luck. And well, this year I'm in last place. I'm in the current standing with what they call the Wankers Award. And truthfully, I am less motivated to play. And is it because I'm losing? Possible. But it's also because my friend in this league is first or second each week, and she just doesn't shut the fuck up about it. Last year, she literally lost, and she just didn't say anything at all. I really don't find this behavior fun or competitive. I just find it icky and unhealthy. That's not the competition I like, so this probably be my last year in that league. Also, the reduced self-compassion leads into competitiveness. The harsh inner critic we all have leads to reduced self-compassion. Lack of kindness to ourselves will undermine our motivation and will really hinder our personal development, leaving us to sit mushy on the couch because hell, we suck at everything, don't we all? Competitiveness can be a powerful tool in today's development if we manage it effectively, and here's how we can actually do it. And here's how it can help, because I'm not going to lead you with all the shitty things that competitiveness doesn't do for us. Competitiveness also drives us to set clear and challenging goals. Our desire to outperform others or achieve a personal best will help us define what we want to achieve and establish a roadmap for reaching it. 2, motivation. Competitive spirit will provide a strong motivation if we actually start pushing ourselves harder. It will encourage us to put in the extra effort, practice, or study whatever we need to improve the skills. And it builds resilience. Competing often involves facing challenges, right? A competitive mindset helps you develop resilience and lead us to bounce back from failures and actually view them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. There's always going to be a loser in sports, especially 2 teams. In the Olympics, during the team sports matches, when they have the matches for gold and silver, those 2 teams already know that they're going to get a medal. But in the bronze medal match, the team either gets a bronze or they get 4th place. The bronze medalists that win are usually happier than the silver medalists in the Olympics. Why? Because the silver medalists lost their match. They are guaranteed a medal going into their match, either gold or silver, but because they lost their match, they got second. It's all mindset of how you view it. Are you still a winner with a silver place medal in 2nd place? Absolutely. We need to start focusing on our goals. If you're competitive, you're going to be less likely to get distracted by unrelated activities, and you're going to stay dedicated to what you want to do to find the success to where you're going. It'll also lead you to self-awareness. Competitiveness is really great with self-awareness. I love this, right? You measure your own progress against yourself into your past performances so you can gain insights on where you need to improve. That's your playbook, baby. And then innovation. I talked about this earlier. In a competitive environment, you're going to be driven to think a lot more creatively, and you're going to be able to find solutions to stand out. This brings me back to high school. Let's say you play sports, and you are one of the best girls on your team. But a new girl comes to school, and she plays the same sport as you, and guess what? She also plays the same position. What can you do to show that you're stronger in that position? How are you going to out-compete that other girl? It'll build character, trust me. 7, discipline. The need to compete effectively often requires developing really strong habits and disciplines with routines. You'll learn how to manage your time better, stay more organized, and maintain a consistent effort. And those are all really crucial skills for personal development and just leading to an authentic life. It's so important to balance competitiveness with collaboration and self-care. Excessive competitiveness can lead to stress, burnout, and strained relationships. But striving to use competitiveness as a positive force for growth while also appreciating the value of cooperation and maintaining a healthy perspective on your success and failure. Being competitive is not a bad thing, but it also shouldn't be the only trait that we're clinging on to. It has its pros, it has its cons, and I think that a healthy amount of competition is always good. I find the competition, when approaching it constructively, is actually a vital and healthy force in our human world. It's in the animal kingdom for a reason. We are part of the animal kingdom, I guess. And it drives innovation, motivates us to reach our fullest potential. And it will foster excellence by setting higher standards for ourselves. In the workplace and education and beyond, competition encourages us to find creativity, efficiency, and pushes us to refine our skills and achieve more. It also fosters resilience and adaptability, helping us to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. When grounded in fairness and respect, competition cultivates a dynamic environment where progress thrives, ideas flourish, and everyone benefits from the collective drive towards improvement. Embracing healthy competition could lead to your personal growth, societal advancement, and just a more dynamic, bright world. I hope you get out into this big, beautiful world this week, and one last reminder that you are without a doubt a badass. Don't you forget it. Next episode, next Wednesday, and I'll see you there. XOXO, your girl, Mad. See ya.